Hey, this is Jennifer and Megan. We are two sisters from South Carolina on a mission to discover more about our British grandmother's life in London by reading, researching, and sharing her love letters she wrote to her American soldier sweetheart during World War II. Our grandmother Lucy was born and raised in London, England, and our grandfather Jimmie was born and raised in South Carolina. He was in the U.S. Army and was stationed near Salisbury when they first met. At some point, he visited London and he and Lucy met somewhere in Covent Garden. At the time of the first letter that we have, Lucy and Jimmie had met, fallen in love, gotten engaged, and were planning on getting married in London and then moving to South Carolina once the war was over. But before they were able to get married, Jimmie was shipped off to France. They thought he would be coming back to London sometime soon after leaving, but as we now know, that didn't happen. And from the moment they departed at the train station, it will be 2 years before they are reunited. And so this 2-year period that they were apart is what gave us these letters we are reading today. It's such a beautiful love story that we just have to share it. Also, it's taken a life of its own as we've made so many awesome discoveries along the way, and it has become an ongoing research project. So, if you're looking for an interesting, unique perspective on life, love, and London during World War II, then you've found the right place. We will take you through each letter and bring them to life as we have recently traveled to some of the exact places mentioned in these letters. Think of this as a historical love story come to life. So grab your favorite beverage and blanket and prepare to dive in with us. This is the All My Love, Lucy podcast. Hey, and welcome back to the All My Love, Lucy podcast. Today, I'm flying solo. As you can see, Megan is not able to be here, but this is episode number 21. And if you're a first-time listener, we do encourage that you go back and start with episode number 1. This podcast is more like a series. We read the letters in chronological order, and we have covered a lot of information. So we do encourage that you go back and start at the beginning. Also, we're going to be announcing our t-shirt winners from last time and doing the drawing at the end. So be sure and stick around for that to see if you're a winner. And thank you all for the response to our question about which platform you listen on. We are still trying to make some decisions about that, but we'll let you know if there are any updates that would affect you listening on Podbean, which is specifically what we're considering changing. But for now, everything is the same, and we'll update you as we go. Also, we finally have the BBC Radio Berkshire morning show episode. And we will try to post it on our Facebook page. We have to post clips of it. We can't post the whole thing. So we might try to post some of that depending on the permissions that allow us, what that allows us to do. But we're so excited about that. We finally got a copy of that. We were not notified when it was aired. So it was actually aired on June 13th, but it's no longer available online. So they had to send us a copy of it. So we'll try to post some clips of that so y'all can hear that. We were really excited about that. And don't forget, at the end, we will have an uninterrupted reading of Lucy's letter, so be sure to stick around for that. And let's get started with letter number 21. August 10th, 1944. Dearest, it is 10:30 p.m. and Muriel has just left, so before I go to bed, I want to write a few lines to my sweetheart. And so real quickly, we had talked about last time that we were going to try to find some information about Muriel. Muriel is one of Lucy's closest friends, but unfortunately, I'm hitting a wall with her. I do have her last name, but I don't have an address or a date of birth, and so that kind of makes things impossible. I can't find any information on her that I'm certain is her. So we will keep digging, and as we come across, if we come across any other clues that we could search a little better for her, we are definitely going to be doing that. But as of right now, I'm just hitting walls. I can't find anything. She goes on to say, so you received 4 letters together? Well, darling, I'm sure that was a record, and it gave me a lovely thrill to know they made you happy. And so also, we have a surprise letter, another letter that we have discovered had to have been written earlier than we thought. I don't remember what episode it was where we had another one of Jimmie's letters that we found, but most of them we thought did not start until October of 1944. But as we're going through, we're finding that the envelopes that go with the letters must not match. And so he did not date some of his letters in the beginning. So we aren't really sure what the dates of them are, but this specific letter is in June, sometime June 1944. We are sure of that because Lucy responds to this letter on June 22nd, 1944 in her letter. So it had to be written sometime just before that. So I'm going to pause here. We're going to have this letter read and then we'll come back in just a few moments. Dearest darling, just a few lines to let you hear from me. I'm feeling fine and hope this finds my darling the same. I guess you have been waiting for a letter from me, but this is the first chance I have had to write to you. Well, darling, maybe you have guessed where I am, but if you haven't, I'm in France now. I have read your last letter over and over lots of times, and I am waiting patiently for some more letters from my darling. I don't want you to worry about me. Just keep saying prayers that I might come back to you safe. I'm doing my part and taking care of myself the best I know how. You should know I love you and always will, don't matter what happens. I hope it won't be long until I can come back to you and then we can be together always. Well, dear, for now I must say cheerio, God bless you, and keep you safe at all times. I am always all yours, Jimmie. So, hope you enjoyed that letter. And he talks about, again, that we mentioned that she responds to him about being in France. And so in the beginning, we weren't exactly sure where he went. And so I don't think she was either. And so she responds to him in her letter on June 22nd that, yes, I guess that you must have gone to France by now. And so he's telling her that here in this letter. And this letter is so sweet, and it just demonstrates that he loves her and her love for him is reciprocated by him, and it's just very romantic. And we're so thankful to have these letters, and especially finding another one from him. She goes on to say, on Monday, I went to the pictures with my sister and saw, drumroll please, the name of the movie that we ask you all to guess is The Eve of St. Mark. The Eve of St. Mark. And we do have a winner. It is actually our mom, Phyllis. Phyllis guessed correctly the name of this movie. And so we're going to be sending her, we were going to send a t-shirt, but she's already got one of our t-shirts, being our mom. So we're going to send her a coffee mug. And we're just really excited that she won that. So congratulations, Mom, Mama. And we're happy for you that you won that. And good job on that. That's a movie I'd never heard of before. And then also, I want to give you all some homework to do. Let's all watch the movie, The Eve of St. Mark. If you're watching this in the same week that we record and not much later, then go ahead, or even if you're not, but go ahead and watch The Eve of St. Mark. And I'm going to post a link to this in our description below. And go ahead and watch that movie. It's actually very entertaining, and you'll understand why she goes on to say, we both liked it very much. And you'll understand why. And so next time we can discuss that a little more in that movie. But I want to specifically tell you to pay attention to a couple of places in the movie and see if you catch a certain reference that Lucy makes in her next letter. The movie evidently made her start thinking of some specific things, or maybe worrying about a little bit of something. And I don't want to give too much away, but pay close attention to around the 33-minute mark of the movie. And then again, around the 42-minute mark of the movie. There's some things that happen there. And then in her next letter, I feel like that made her start thinking certain things, and you'll understand why when we get to the next letter. But go ahead and watch the movie this week. If you're watching this episode in real time or the same week that we record, go ahead and watch the Eve of St. Mark and let me know, or let us know, what you think about it, and then we're going to discuss it next time. So something new that we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking little breaks, and we're going to be having a little bit of advertisement. We're not going to bombard you. We're going to have one in the middle of the episode each week, and we'll take a break and do a short advertisement. This was just going to help offset some of our operational expenses. So we'll be right back after this break. Today we are recommending The Nightingale, a novel by Kristen Hanna. It is a #1 New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal Best Book of the Year, and soon to be major motion picture starring sisters Elle and Dakota Fanning. It is described as an unforgettable novel of love and strength in the face of war, which goes right along with the themes in Lucy and Jimmie's story. The book has received much praise from authors such as Christina Baker Klein, stating it is haunting, action-packed, and compelling. Our great Aunt Julia, Jimmie's youngest sister, first recommended it to us, and we are passing it along to you. If you're interested in purchasing this book, the Amazon affiliate link can be found in the description of this episode. We will receive a small commission from qualifying purchases, but rest assured we would never recommend anything we aren't willing to purchase ourselves. All commissions will go towards our podcast operating expenses, so thank you in advance for your purchase. Enjoy. She goes on to say, "Well, darling, I would like to have another picture taken specially for you, so I will try and get one done as soon as ever I can, but I'm afraid they will take several weeks because they are short of material these days." And so we know there's the rationing is going on and all of that. So of course we know materials would be scarce, and that it would probably be difficult for a lot of these places to have the correct materials that they needed for things. I did look up about photo processing during this time, and to have a photo like she's talking about taken of yourself or your family, your children, yeah, you had most likely had to seek out a professional photography studio. They would be the ones that would probably have more access to the materials needed to make pictures. And as with everything else, that would be challenging, but she mentions, of course, here that it would take a longer time. And we know that in the next letter, she gives a little bit more detail in that. But on one of her photos that we have of her, we do see the name Jerome printed on the back of one of her photos, because I was trying to find any kind of studio that she may have gone to so that I could look it up and learn more about it and learn more about the whole process of things during that time. And there was a name Jerome on the back. And so when I was researching this, I found that there is a Jerome studio that was previously Gale Studios, and that is they had locations in England, Holland, France, and Belgium. And so there's a lot of information about the Jerome Studios. It's very interesting. A lot of pictures on there, a lot of pictures of the building or different buildings, and old photos of people. And so if you're interested in learning more about that and seeing some of those photos, amazing photos, then I will post a link below in our description so that you can click on that and go take a look at that website where it talks about the Jerome Studios, where she most likely would have had this photo she's talking about. She most likely would have gone there or somewhere similar, but I would think if she had one done there, she would have probably had more than one done there. So that's probably where she went this specific time to have her photo taken for Jimmie at Jerome Studios. And speaking of photos, and also Belgium, we talked about Jerome Studio being in Belgium. We have made an amazing discovery about Harriet. If you remember, Harriet is Lucy's eldest sister. And the story goes that she went missing one day, and she left her home and she never returned one day. Her family never saw her again. And so the story goes that they thought maybe she fell victim to the bombings or the gas or something like that. We aren't really sure. We don't really have a clear explanation as to where she went or what happened to her until now. And so when I was researching on ancestry.com and myheritage.com, those two are the two genealogy sites that we use. I can't remember which one it popped up on, but I found her name listed on some immigration papers. And it says that she immigrated to Belgium. And the earliest date that I see on there is January of 1929. And so I had to go on there and pull a file number, and then I had to go to another website to go and search through the files. And I came across her immigration papers, her actual papers that they had there. And the most amazing discovery of all is that we now have a photo of Harriet, Lucy's eldest sister, which is absolutely amazing. I wish Megan was here so we could talk about it more, but I'm definitely going to put that picture up of her, but it is just amazing. Now, we do not know why she went there or why her family didn't know, or they say they didn't know. We do not know the story behind that, but we do know now that she left England and went to Belgium, and from there, I'm not really sure, but it is possible now. We didn't think that there would be any descendants of hers, but it is possible that now there could be descendants of Harriet. And so we are definitely not giving that up. We're going to be looking for digging and searching to see if there are any descendants of Harriet's. We will continue on that story. She goes on to say, "Sweetheart, I'm too sleepy to think of anything more except to say I love you very dearly and miss my darling very much. Good night, and God bless you with all my love, from your Lucy." So we continue on this journey with Lucy and Jimmie as they detail their lives during this time. And now I've already done the drawing because I was going to be by myself. So I've already done the drawing, and for the t-shirt for who shared are on their social media. And so the winner is Randy. Congratulations, Randy. He is our neighbor and he shares all of our episodes and all of our social media things he shares. And we're so grateful for that. And so we drew his name today, and we are so excited to give you one of our t-shirts. So we'll get in touch with you about that. Next time on the next letter, Lucy is going to tell us about a time where she was tempted to be unfaithful to Jimmie. So that's quite interesting. Also, I read ahead some looking for more information about Muriel. I was trying to dig through and see if I could find anything that would help me to locate Muriel or find more information about Muriel. I know she's not still living, but find information about her and maybe her descendants. And I'm telling you, I cannot wait to get to the 1945 letters. There is some rich stuff in there. There's some really great information. They're so interesting. I don't want to give any spoilers away. So just wanted to let you know, we have a lot of great information coming your way. So be sure to stick around. If you have not subscribed to our channels, our YouTube, especially our YouTube, because that's probably going to be where we are going to be permanently going forward. Even if we haven't done anything with Podbean yet, we're still on Podbean. But going forward, just make sure you definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, because we do post all of our information there too. And we have Instagram and TikTok and all of that. But our main sources are Facebook and YouTube, and of course Podbean right now. So be sure to subscribe, and we always appreciate if you'll just hit that like button on any of them, anything that we post. Just hit that like button, or leave us some comments, or hit share, whatever you want to do. But all of that helps us to grow, helps our platforms to grow. So we greatly appreciate that. And again, as always, we have our email if you would like to email us, allmylovelucy@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And so we're coming to an end today, and we again miss Megan. So make sure you leave a comment and say, "We miss you, Megan." Hope you're back soon. And thank you all so much for joining us. As promised, I'm going to end with an uninterrupted reading of this letter. So until next time, enjoy. August 10th, 1944. Dearest, it is 10:30 p.m. and Muriel has just left, so before I go to bed, I want to write a few lines to my sweetheart. So, you received 4 letters together? Well, darling, I am sure that was a record, and it gave me a lovely thrill to know they made you happy. On Monday, I went to the pictures with my sister and saw The Eve of St. Mark, which we both liked very much. Well, darling, I would like to have another picture taken specially for you, so I will try and get one done as soon as I ever can, but I am afraid they will take several weeks because they are short of material these days. Sweetheart, I am too sleepy to think of anything more except to say I love you dearly and miss my darling very much. Good night, and God bless you with all my love from your Lucy. If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We truly hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll return for the next episode of the All My Love Lucy podcast.